Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. So I'm getting blasted with a bunch of energies. I just sat down and lit my candles and put but yeah, see, I can't even get my bearings. And I'm noticing them really uncomfortable in this space. So there's definitely a really uncomfortable energy that's sweeping through this collective that this message is for. I'm being brought back to a card called the Fault Line that I guess I did a reading with a few days ago. And so when we think about the fault line, it's the Earth's crust and it's kind of like cracked open, right? And you can see like all the volatile material inside the Earth. And that's happened for somebody recently. When we think about like the geological layers of Earth, this is almost like layers of armor that we've adopted, or self-protections that we've adopted, or emotions that we've settled into that we operate from. Okay, it's our normal baseline emotional field. And whoever this message is for, you're going to know this message is for you. If here recently you were on a roller coaster that you're not normally on, and I don't mean that you're on this roller coaster because someone broke up with you, or a friend left your life, or because there was something that happened. This is something that just happened, and we don't really have an explanation for why it happened. Okay, so that's who this is speaking for. Or speaking to. And I also want to say that, okay, with that, the number 4. So, and that's why that's coming out that way. Remember in a previous reading, apparently, I just keep saying apparently. I don't know which reading it was. I vaguely remember it speaking about the number 4. And the number 4 for me personally is a number of conflict because it precedes the change, number 5. And this is an energy in this moment where this discomfort is because there's some sort of change. The bubbling up of this volatile material that has had us on some sort of emotional roller coaster here recently from the time that you watch this, if this reading is for you, that is the number 4. So it's something that's preceding a change, but we get to decide if it graduates to the 5. And here's why. Whenever we have this material bubbling up, it's because something deep within ourselves is ready for, it's ready, right? We've gone far enough in our healing journey. We've done enough work. We've done enough of our own personal growth and evolution that now an aspect of ourselves feels safe enough to give us the program to do something new with it. Okay? Our self is trying to heal now, the deep self, not just the ego identity self, but the deep self is trying to navigate us towards healing now. So it's offering up this material to say, here, do something with this, because this is what's getting in your way. For most of you, this is going to be a lack energy. I have no friends, I have no money, I have no direction, I have no, I have no love in my life, so it's going to be this lack energy. And the problem with the lack energy is then it causes us to behave and act and choose things that continue to fulfill that lack. So for example, I have no money, and so we scramble to take any job that we can because we're trying to get money, or some people will go off on like these giant ideas that are just really impractical and they're not going to get them anywhere, or they'll gravitate towards the job that on an unconscious level they know that it's just not going to work out for them because that lack is like, okay, this is who we are, this is our resonance, right? This is my identity, and our beliefs are tied to our identity. And someone's identity is ready to change. It's like that total metamorphosis of that butterfly, right? And this is why this information has come out. So now is the time, in this number 4 time, now is the time to make sure that we kind of work through that material, that conflictual material that is keeping ourself from ourself, so that we can actually have the things that we want and we can actually make the choices that are right for us. I do want to say that on the bottom of this deck was this card. I shuffled this before I started recording, and so we have the snake here, which is that sort of shedding of some sort of layer, shedding of an identity. Okay. Oh look, there's the crust and the volcano. So now we're entering number 5 as we steam this out, as we vent it out. The experience of the emotions isn't necessarily the venting. That's just the experience, right? We can experience emotions and not process them, especially if we don't take the information that it's being presented to us and do something with it. Sometimes we don't need to. Sometimes we just need to sit and observe and just be conscious of the energy. This is an energy that you've already seen. These beliefs, you know that they're there. And so this feeling is bubbling up because it's saying, hey, you've already been conscious of this. Here's this energy material. Now let's decide to go forward and change this program. And what people don't like is that changing that program is never an overnight thing. They think, oh, now I'm consciously deciding this and now it's changed. And that's usually not how it works for the deep-seated energies. And when we have this type of energy, for most people, it's going to take months, maybe even years, to rewrite this program. But you have to start, right? Because if you don't start, 2 years from now, your life's going to look the same. 10 years from now, your life is going to look the same in this lack. And so the process of going about and being persistent and showing ourselves the self-love to start working on these programs and taking the months or the years, it winds up paying off, right? It's better to have a better life in 5 years than it is to get nowhere in 5 years. And I do actually feel that number 5 is very significant about something. Whether it's 5 months, 5 days, 5 years. Some of you, you know, what you're seeing, it's stuff that you've already tackled, you're already aware of it, and you've already been working on that program. I do want to say, because I am getting another camp who maybe they don't have that energy that has had to bubble up. Okay, they don't have that energy that has had to bubble up. So the next part of the reading is really going to be speaking about this volatile energy that they've been getting. So both camps, whether you have those layers and those beliefs and now you've seen them, right? Like that you've had certain feelings come up during that place. And those of you who it's not attached to a feeling and you really don't know where it's coming from. If you're someone who struggles with self-reflection, I'm not necessarily speaking to you in this camp. I'm speaking to those of you that are really good at self-reflection and can generally say, this is why I feel this way, okay? So both camps, underneath that layer, and for these guys, you may not have that layer, underneath that layer, what's coming up right now is change on a collective level. So now it's accessing deeper material. And this deeper material is important because this deeper material ties to the energy surroundings around us. Energy surroundings are not necessarily locations, though they can be. For some of you, you're going to be processing community energy, so community lower vibrations. These energies, because they are collective, they have to come up through the individuals in order to vent, like the volcano. This is not the fault line, right? This is not the fault line. This is different. This is the volcano. So as an individual peak within this earth mantle, so to speak, of the collective, you may now be venting out certain emotions that collectively have been held within your community. For most of you, it's going to be within your family. It's in the blood, okay? It's inside the energy of the blood. Okay, 5 of, okay, apparently I had this card come out in that reading too, or something similar. Apparently there's something with a phone in a crack. I don't know. If it was, you guys will remember. So this is about our connection. This is about how well we're able to hear. We may not be able to, if this lens is over here, we may not be able to hear the information correctly. There's something on a communal level or like a collective level that is trying to be witnessed. It needs to be witnessed, okay? And there's going to be those of you who are like, I didn't ask for this, I didn't sign up for this. That's absolutely fine. Don't do what I'm talking about then. Those of you who are like, yeah, I'm here to do the work. I'm here to, you know, help humanity. This energy is essentially something that is coming up in order for you to witness its story, witness its pain, witness its emergence is kind of how I heard it, and to hold space for it. Because as the individual becomes conscious of it, this is where that energy starts to heal. So, Okay. And it requires us to move through our own layer of baggage and programming so that we can successfully do that. You may be accessing that information now, but if you haven't necessarily cleared I think that one was called the signal. If you haven't cleared your signal, you won't be able to receive the information appropriately. And that's okay. There's going to be other times where this comes up. This is not the only time, because your self is going to be from here on out helping you vent certain things, okay? And this brings us to kind of the source, the core, right? Look at this, it's like the nucleus of an atom, or a dark sun within a dark solar system. And we have this double energy of not transformation, it is release, right? Snakes don't really transform, they just shed a layer. So this is where something is being renewed and something is ready to be shed from the collective story. These energies usually process in ways that are big and significant for us, but on a collective scale, they're small steps. They're small steps. But when you have enough people who have honestly adopted their title that they use of healer, and they're opening themselves up to do the bigger work, whether, no matter how that manifests, this is what happens. We start to slowly shift the collective's energy. And this is not usually pretty. It doesn't usually happen inside of an office or inside of, a set schedule, or I have this booking at 3 p.m. This is the stuff that happens in private when we're living our talk, right? When you're basically walking your talk. And the thing is about this, not everyone who does this even realizes this is what they're doing. Interesting, okay. When I get this card, it always makes me think of the Library of Alexandria, and it makes me think of hidden knowledge, the snake, hidden knowledge, right? Even the cell phone that you can't look at because the screen is broken or there's something not working, it's like you don't have access to the knowledge anymore. So there's something here about hidden knowledge. I do feel that there is some very important energy that's locked away inside the second layer that's coming up for those who are in this camp. For those of you who are in the camp that, you may not necessarily have the density of that programming inside of you because you've been reprogramming yourself for a number of years. Or maybe, you never had like those types of really strong core concepts to work through. Maybe you had great parents and a great family that really instilled confidence in you, that really made you feel loved. Maybe you never really felt that lack energy, and you're just simply experiencing the collective, right? Both camps, when you experience this energy, there's deeper information locked away in it. How that information manifests and how you access it is going to be dependent on your personal skill set, okay? Feel into your body. For most of you, feel into your body. Sit in quiet, sit with, I feel like if you're in this camp, I don't even need to tell you. If you're over here, sit, I always talk about journaling, and it's just because it gives us a focal point where we sit in quiet with ourselves and we give ourselves space to tune in. And so allowing ourselves that space to tune in is really how you're going to access this deeper information, because there's some stuff that's trying to come through collectively for a healing collective. That is information that's been a little lost. I would advise staying away from looking at like these grandiose narratives, because it's very rarely that. It's usually something very subtle, very small, and yet extremely profound. But we tend to miss it in these moments because we're looking for something big and flashy and shiny and Hollywood movie-like. But in reality, a lot of this stuff is extremely subtle. Flower of life is going to be really important as a symbol for somebody right now. Okay, and here we go again. The key to the conflict. You could take this as earth. You could take it as to the collective. You could take this as us in our cosmic story. I think this card is saying that everyone's going to receive slightly different information based on what you've already held as important to yourself. This key, this moment of being able to sink into this energy has actually been manifested by you. We have the eye and the triangle, which to me is like the manifesting creator. I see and so I become, right? I perceive and so I become. This is an energy where, again, like I said, because of the journey that somebody's on, their self is like, okay, you want these things to be this way? Well, there's this information we have to clear out. And on the tail end of that information, there's some collective healing or collective information that needs to be received and integrated before the actions and the behaviors and the thoughts and the beliefs that people meet us in, that the world meets us in, or that our universe meets us in, can change. Okay. Oh, this little guy, he was having a campfire. In this campfire, he created a universe, and then he realized it was all in his mind, right? It was all in his mind. The conflict the whole time was starting in his mind. And that's not to say that the experiences that we go through aren't real. Oh, it's not even a fire. He died. This guy did. And it's like he gave up the ghost, and the ghost was the universe. This energy here, no matter which camp you're in, the energy that is trying to be seen, trying to be harvested from, it kind of feels that way. It's like the wheat has grown and now it's ready for harvest. There's an entire realm of possibility locked away within that information. When we change our outlook, we change everything. And there's an outlook here that's ready to change. Okay, this guy's like, originally I saw it as a fire, and he had been having some fun out by this fire, and now he's crawling away like, I'm a different mushroom. I'm a changed mushroom. And really, it was a moment where someone's off in the distance screaming, he's just a boy. But there's something here where it's like an old version of us is being left behind. It's trying to be left behind. Okay, but the energy that we're in right now is the conflict of that sundering. The death process is very rarely an easy process. It's very rarely a comfortable process. Someone is being burst open through this flower. So there's like this flower child here. Again, that flower imagery, the cosmic flower, stepping into the place of the pattern. Okay, and they're almost giving it to me like, we have a lot of people, and a lot of people are doing their own thing, and even inside their spiritual journey, they're doing their own thing. And there's the people that get to this part, and it's like ping, 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 the lights come on, and then they start doing the work, right? This is the work of healing humanity. It doesn't happen necessarily in our bodies. I mean, it happens all sorts of ways, but on this energy scale, on this level of depth, it doesn't happen on the surface. It happens on the deep energies that are programming our behaviors, our actions, our thoughts, as not just an individual, but as a species. So someone here, this is like the great work, right? In my opinion. I know the great work actually refers to something else, but fuck them. Just joking. Here we have the number 5. Okay, so this is, again, we have lots of 4s and 5s. I'm telling you, that's sort of a conflict or roiling before the change. And people don't like that I read it as conflict. That's because you have a negative association with conflict. I think conflict is beautiful, because conflict is where we get stronger. Conflict is where we see what we're about. Conflict is a beautiful fucking energy. Okay, and if you're uncomfortable with conflict, you might want to figure out like why that is, because conflict is necessary, and conflict is necessary to growth. Conflict is the springboard from which growth comes. Here we have number 5, these two double number 5s now, so it's not just the individual, it's the whole. And here all of a sudden we have this garden. So we have this little moment of trial, some sort of error, and a shedding that's happened. And this really unlocks something deep within the core to release this beautiful, vibrant life that we see kind of bursting forth. Notice the wind chimes. It's like a different resonance, right? A different tone is being emitted, and this resonance can be heard further and further and further away. This here is where that manifestation quality is no longer grounded, and it becomes miraculous. And notice how he almost seems very at home there. It's like our little mushroom friend, after he's gone through his little experience, he's found his place, right? And he feels a little small, But he knows that small doesn't mean insignificant. It's not the same small that we normally talk about, where we're occupying a small space. He understands that he packs a mighty punch, because without him, none of this other life would be alive. This is what's happening. Someone's turning on, and they're recognizing that this is what it means to caretake. This is what it means to heal. This is what it means to tend to the underworld. Okay, this is a very beautiful energy. So I'm gonna leave this here. And whoever's message this is, I wish you the best of luck with this. I really wish you the best of luck with some of the energies that are venting out at this time. And feel free to leave me a comment. And until next time.